Well, the intro video is not working like I'd hoped. Sorry about that. But yeah, thank you and welcome to my stream. This is obviously the 500 celebration, and thank you all for coming. Let's see who we got here. Hey, Mr. Blue Sky, welcome. Hey, Cast in Shadows, welcome. How you doing? So far, this stream got off to a rough start because obviously my darn intro video, which I saved to my darn whatchamacallit, my Twitter DMs, it's not working for some reason. I guess because StreamYard is a thing I'm not able to, is activated. I can't use it, which is bogus. Totally bogus. But that's okay because if I can just find it here. Darn it. All right. Let's try something a little easier. Let's get this darn video on the road the right way. Alrighty. Set up. All right, good. There we go. Anyways, so yeah, just wanted to get the intro there. Like the stream, save the dream. That's right, Rob. Hey, I actually sent you an invite on a link in your DMs. So if you want to come on, feel free to do so. But yeah, so that was the intro. I admit I had to improv there since the programming wasn't working the right way. So yeah. But yeah, 500 subs. I thought I would make it here sooner, but it has been very rough considering how YouTube's been changing things a lot. And not to mention, when you don't put as much out as you like, it's like, how do you keep the subs without when you're not putting out content? It's difficult, I admit, but I kept pushing, and I'm still pushing. I intend to get 1K. I intend to get monetization. It's going to be difficult, but I'm going to make it. Heck, look at TechCom. I mean, I only have like maybe 30 some videos over there, and yet it's already got like over 1,000 watch hours, and it's like nearing 400 now. So yeah, it's like I must be doing something right over on TechCom because but then again, it is focused more on Terminator, therefore it's easy to do. Let's see. What am I missing in the chat here? Would love to, but watching while working. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good day at work. Mazel tov. Yeah. 504 now. Wow. Yeah. I got 2 just overnight. And should have been here sooner, but YouTube has its evil ways. Yeah. Hey, Hades Almighty, welcome. But yeah, my stepdad just stepped in.
The greatest steak dinner of all time.
Yes. And you got me good pizza.
I got you good pizza.
Which is a good way to celebrate my 500 subs. Eating pizza, drinking RC.
I had steak, a baked potato, and the most decadent dessert of all time. 6 different types of chocolate and vanilla bean ice cream.
Wow.
So if you'll excuse me, I'm heading to the reading room.
Of course. Exactly. Once you focus on just one topic, it makes it easier. Yeah. So this way, on the bright side, if my main channel does eventually get monetized and TechCom, catches up immediately and gets monetized either before or after, or even at the same time, that's double monetization. Now, I know I probably should be putting a little more effort into the Star Wars lore and the Cobra Kai Karate Kid lore channel, Crane Kick, but you know, I'll get to them. It's just, you know, I got to focus one thing at a time. So, in fact, right now I'm actually working on a video that will be posted on TechCom, and I don't know if, yet, but I'm thinking of also making a Resident Evil lore channel and posting it on there as well. You know, double postage and all that. Get more, you know, get more publicity. It's Resident Evil Terminated. It's a crossover video series that I made using edited footage from various Terminator and Resident Evil, you know, media, from video games to live action to CGI movies and all that, and even including footage from non-Resident Evil and Terminator stuff, like, you know, footage of children at a park, or footage from like other Linda Hamilton, Robert Patrick, Arnold Schwarzenegger films like Commando and such. I'm using it's like a combination of all that footage to tell a story of what Resident Evil and Terminator would be like in a crossover universe. Basically, it's set after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where Sarah and John and along with Miles Bennett Dyson and the Terminator, the four of them, because they blew up Cyberdyne, they think they stopped Judgment Day. But as we can tell, Resident Evil takes place in 1998, a year after the August 29th, 1997, which was the original Judgment Day. So because Judgment Day was averted, they think the world is saved. But of course, they flee to Raccoon City from the police, and then they find out there may be a worse future on the horizon due to the events that are about to take place in Raccoon City. Finished a new outro graphic this morning, and I'm on it. Awesome. Thank you, dude. But yeah, basically, Sarah and John go to Raccoon City, which in my story is in Colorado. I understand because Raccoon City is up for debate as to which Midwestern city it's in. I said it in Colorado because it's Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, where NORAD is. And in the future war, John Connor and the Resistance, they're going to take over a Skynet facility that's in the remains of Raccoon City, and so that they have a position near NORAD. So yeah, it's like I have a full depth idea story here, and basically John and Sarah get caught up in the Raccoon City and Mansion incidents and from Resident Evil, the video games, and because of that, John, when the future war comes along, because Terminators are still going to come about. Because of in the future war, he's fighting, leading humanity against Terminators. He's also aware of, you know, other things worse than Terminators. So it's kind of like the crossover kind of presents the pick your poison type of future, where do you want a zombie apocalypse? Do you want a Terminator apocalypse? Or would you rather go against both? So yeah, it's very, it seems like it's something so outrageous that might not fit on paper, but I'm actually making it happen. I already got like the prologue and chapter. See, I'm basically releasing this video in a series, like a web series, like in novel form. There's the prologue, and then there's chapter 1. Currently working on chapter 2 and chapter 3, but yeah, I got the prologue and chapter 1 done. I'm just, I'm trying to make a trailer so that way I can hype this thing up. That way, when I give the date of when I'm going to drop the prologue and chapter 1, I'll put it on the trailer. And that way, you'll all have something to look forward to. Yeah, I'm going to definitely play this, you know, almost cinematic, like theatrical. So, what do y'all think about that? Resident Evil Terminated. Sound like an awesome idea? But, What else? Let's see. No one's popping up. I guess they're all a little busy right now. I sent a lot of invites, so we'll see.
Oh boy.
The Fandom Collective. They retweeted my stream. That's awesome. But what else? You dingbat, you.
Well, I haven't used this lamp in over a month.
Of course. But that's no excuse. So, anything you'd like to contribute to this stream, bud?
Where are we at now?
Well, I'm only like 11 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I just told them a bit about my Resident Evil crossover with Terminator.
Nice.
So, what would you like to contribute if you have anything?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
You have absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Well, that's what you are, my stepdad. A big nothing.
So where are you planning on living?
Ugh.
There. Put some light on the subject.
Very funny.
Congratulations on your 500.
Well, thank
I'll give
you.
you that much.
Thank you.
Now when are you going to get to 1,000? Start paying your bills.
Good question.
Yeah, let's work on that. Everybody on this stream, I'm sure, knows about 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
So just get them to like Mega Jetty 1. How's that? See?
That's good, but I mean, let's see. My first video, I think, was back in like 2018.
Yeah.
That's when I really started making content. I mean, I had my account on YouTube since like late 2010-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, since 2008, I've been trying to grow myself, and it's now 2021.
Well,
So
13 years.
So that's like
I personally thought your best video ever was the one you did on 24.
well, of course, because I had you involved in it.
Exactly.
Well, it was
41 minutes we went talking about 24.
yeah. If y'all want to see that one, that should be that's like early on, like one of my earlier videos. You're gonna have to probably go far down the uploads to find that one. But then again, I could actually just go looking for it right now and
Want to talk about politics?
Oh no!
Good, neither do I.
Oh,
2 hours.
Are you trying to kill my stream?
I know. Now I'll tell you why it was the best steak I've had in many years.
Okay.
Because I won a bet that I was waiting for 4 years to collect on.
All right, but that's all we're gonna go with that.
That's it.
All right. So yeah, you won a bet and you got a wonderful steak out of the deal.
Great steak. Gotta have to go up there one of these days. When you get monetized, we're gonna go up to Longhorn.
Okay, obviously I can't go back in my uploads.
That's
so,
all right.
But
It's
no.
there. Go look for it.
Yeah, I just gotta pull it up in the whatchamacallit, I just gotta pull it up in the manage videos.
There you go.
So give me a quick moment.
You don't have to do this on my account.
No. I'm doing this for the viewers.
Okay.
I'm going to find it in my darn uploads, and then I'm going to post the link so that way they can go see it if they want.
There you go.
Excuse me. All right, link. And talking boxes 24 with my stepdad.
You say it with such love and reverence in your voice.
Very funny. There you go, everyone. So if you want to check out the video, it's right there. You are nothing. And that's how Jeff got kicked out of his stepdad's house. Yeah. Very, very funny, Mando.
It hasn't happened yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's either here, living on the streets, or living with my mom. And I love my mom to death, but we just can't stand living together.
Just keep in mind, you are worthless and weak. What kind of a man are you? What are you gonna do with your life?
I want to rock.
What?
I want to rock.
Ah!
That is a reference to the Twisted Sisters music video of "We're Not Gonna Take It Anymore." That was an awesome video.
Yes, it was.
Now, what else do we got?
What else do you got? Captain America maybe making a comeback in the MCU.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I saw a notification of someone posted a video on it.
Now I'm wondering if they're going to do this somehow after the events of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or whatever they call that movie, where there's an alternative, universe Captain America that Chris Evans plays, or not sure about that. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Personally,
because he's not going to be in his own standalone movie.
Personally, I think we need one more Iron Man. We need Iron Man 4 featuring Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. because we did not get the real Mandarin.
I mean, Ben Kingsley would have been a great Mandarin, but
he seemed like he was a good Mandarin until they pulled that freaking curtain trick and revealed that it was nothing more than a big joke.
Now, how would that affect the Shang-Chi movie that would be coming up?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I get it. It's just, but it's not the same. It's magic versus magic. What makes the Mandarin a great villain is the magic versus tech dynamic he has with Iron Man. It's basically the Mandarin is the Joker to Iron Man's Batman. Polar opposite, contrast, yin and yang. So yeah, I'm glad to see that they're actually going to get a Mandarin for Shang-Chi, but it's just not the same. You need him in Iron Man to give him that real challenge. And I understand Jon Favreau and crew had a hard time fitting a magical Mandarin in Iron Man in the original movies. I mean, that's why they implied the Mandarin in the first movie.
Right.
With the Ten Rings terrorist group, it looked like they were going to make it a little more grounded, kind of go the Ra's al Ghul League of Shadows version in the Batman Begins,
which would have been great.
But when they get to Iron Man 3, they had the chance to actually show a magical Mandarin because they already introduced magic via Thor in Thor the movie and Thor in Avengers.
Right.
So by that point, when they make Iron Man 3, they should have no problem using a magical Mandarin leading a terrorist group.
Not forget to mention Doctor Strange.
Well, Doctor Strange came later.
Well, I know
but
that,
I mean, I'm talking about at the time frame when they started making the MCU. Iron Man was so serious and gritty. The idea of magic seemed impossible. But when they made Thor and the Avengers, because remember, Iron Man 3 came after the Avengers.
That's right.
So by the time
he was still haunted by what he saw, in space.
Yes. So I think after introducing magic in Thor and the Avengers, Iron Man 3 should have been fine with dealing with magic.
You would think.
So yeah, I mean, they completely dropped the ball with the Mandarin.
Well, I'd like to see Justin Hammer come out of jail just for the heck of it, because Sam Rockwell is utterly brilliant as an actor, and just let his freak flag fly, and they do another Iron Man movie.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. We were just talking the Mandarin and how he was misused in the MCU. But
I hope Favreau doesn't pull that kind of crap for his Star Wars features going forward. He takes away from the magic as opposed to the tech.
Yeah, because I mean that's one thing I am saying about the whole thing. I mean, I applaud him for trying to give us Star Wars as it should be. But obviously there are some lore conflictions and continuity issues here and there. But like I said, I mean, I want to have faith in him, but I also remember how he couldn't do the Mandarin, and that was an issue with me. You can't do Iron Man without the Mandarin.
Yep.
Also, you want to talk Iron Man and magic in the MCU? I'm free right now. Oh, awesome! Give me a moment. I'll send you a link in the Discord. I'm gonna have to pull that up. Let's see here. All right.
And tomorrow, the big day, WandaVision.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really, really want to see. I guess they're only releasing the first 2 episodes tomorrow. I don't know how Disney Plus goes about their streaming shows. If they don't do what Netflix does and usually release them all at once, or you have to wait, 2 or 3 months before you see the whole season. But I would really like to see WandaVision at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think WandaVision might be an interesting but it might be interesting. But personally, I want Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff in Doctor Strange 2.
She's supposed to be in it.
Oh, that's good. That's
good.
What
everything I've heard, and I think they actually have in the trailer what looks like from the behind Doctor Strange. So he's supposed to be in it. And maybe that's going to be, I don't know if it's in the finale of it, where the finale goes from WandaVision right into the Doctor Strange movie, which would be great. Depending on when that's coming out. If it's going to be coming out later this year or sometime in 2022.
I heard that the show is like a mini series though. It's only like 10 episodes or something like that. Like it's not going to be seasons and whatnot.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything because since you mentioned Star Wars, back in 2003, they made that 2003 micro series for the Clone Wars, and it ended. Well, they made a part 2. It ended that was in 2005. That ended. The ending literally leads right into the beginning of the third movie. I
remember that. That was great.
Yeah,
that was the only good thing that came out of the prequels.
But and I understand that the Clone Wars animated series kind of conflicts with some of that, but at the same time, I think there is a way you kind of could make it work.
Follow the source material.
But yeah, with the whole magic thing that you were talking about before, the Mandarin isn't magic.
Well, initially in the comics he was, but then they retconned it over the years into being ancient alien technology that he managed to harness.
No, it's the other way around. It was always unknown. He just thought it was magic. And then he decides to think that it is magic because in the story that they learn, it's actually ancient alien rings that were power generators for these guys' ship. Iron Man essentially nukes the rings off. It's like at the end of the fight, Mandarin has no hands. Iron Man's armor is completely like the paint job is gone. It's just silver like metal now. It was a hell of a fight. Literally a nuke went off. And the Mandarin's hands are gone, the rings are gone.
Wow.
But his hands grow back. So he thinks that now he's been infused with the power of the rings.
Even with
and his hands grow back into like lizard hands. So that's how he thinks like, it's magic.
Okay. But yeah, I mean,
will this be the new MacGuffin, kind of like what the Infinity Crystals were?
Well, technically, the 10 rings did act as MacGuffins in the second season of Iron Man, the animated series in the 90s, because the first season was like, it's obviously Iron Man and friends versus Mandarin and friends, and going from plot of the week to plot of the week. Right. But then one of the later episodes where Iron Man supposedly gets married, they tried that episode was made to make it look like the whole plot of the week formula was actually building to something.
And while you're talking about that, I should also mention that John Reilly, the actor who did the voice for Hawkeye, passed away earlier in the week, and of course he's better known to daytime TV fans as Sean Donnelly from General Hospital. He was the voice of Hawkeye.
Oh, I almost forgot that. Sean Donnelly
I recognized the voice the first time I heard it. I think, is that Sean Donnelly? And sure enough, John Riley is his name. Passed away at the age of 83.
Yeah.
And I'm out, so you guys continue.
Hey, you're as much a geek as we are.
I'm not saying I'm not, but I got some reading I got to do.
All right, you do your reading.
Got to do some prepping for the morning show tomorrow.
Oh, all right then. But yeah, yeah, I mean, this first season was simple, plot of the week, but then season 2 they had the 10 rings go like after a fight against the Mandarin, the 10 rings get like separated and the Mandarin is powerless.
I remember, and he's collecting the rings each.
Yeah, and then by the end of the season, he's finally collected all of them. He's back into power, and the entire group that had been like broken apart now has to come back and finally.
Yeah, that was mimicking. I remember that story. That was mimicking the comics at the time.
Yeah, but that wasn't a bad. Honestly, I did not.
That wasn't bad at all. I'm just saying that was why that's. The 90s were doing that a lot with their cartoons. That they were.
Yeah. And honestly, I do like Julia Carpenter as Spider-Woman, you know, because not only is she the reason that the black suit was even inspired, but she also shot her webs like Spider-Man with that hand gesture.
And she was sexy AF.
And she had a daughter.
Yeah, that too. And I think she was supposed to, I mean, in the series at the time, they had Julia Carpenter like falling for Iron Man. I think they were, I don't know if that was in the comics or if that was just part of the, given her traits of pepper.
No, that wasn't a comics thing as far as, actually, was it? I think they may have had a fling in the comics, but it was never really I just know that in the, when Rhodey was Iron Man in the comics, he and Captain Marvel had a relationship. And you got to remember, when Rhodey was Iron Man in the comics, Captain Marvel was Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, and I do know that in the comics, Iron Man and Pepper never really did, end up together. It was Pepper and Happy, right?
No, yeah, they were married, Pepper and Happy. Iron Man, like they're early on. Tony had a thing with for Pepper, but at the end of the day, Pepper and Happy got married, and he would always find someone else, and then something tragic would happen.
Thank you, Riot Kitty. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, what was I had something in my mind. Oh yeah, there was another episode I did like about the 90s Iron Man cartoon where, like, Rhodey War Machine, we find out he has a fear, and it's a traumatizing fear. He's afraid of water. You know?
Yeah, I remember that episode because he was drowning in his own suit.
Yeah, and I actually I liked that, and that partially inspired like something from my Blue Shogun character that I'm writing about. You know, he does have a fear of water of sorts, but I won't go too deep into that, so to speak. But
spoilery, I guess.
Yeah, but that is I will give the I-90s Iron Man cartoon credit there, because that little nugget of Rhodey being afraid of drowning is something that I'm applying to my own story. So yeah, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah.
Right now I'm trying to find that issue I was mentioning, because I have a bunch of them on my computer.
Oh. So how's your day been?
Busy.
Ah.
Which is not surprising these days.
Yeah. Had a little hard time myself getting this stream set up because of the StreamYard, I mean, screwing around with my camera and mic settings.
Oh, I thought I heard some screaming from 3 miles away. That was you, huh?
I wasn't screaming.
Oh, yeah.
I was growling.
Growling?
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard you scream about it a couple of times.
I live with a famous comedian, Arnold Braunschweiger.
Schwarzenegger.
Gesundheit. You see what I have to live with?
You don't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad.
You don't have to. You know where the door is.
I'm actually thinking of starting a sitcom web series with my stepdad here. You know, something along the lines of Family Matters and Full House.
Are you going to be the Oracle?
Did I do that?
That's awesome for you.
I can't help it. I like to be funny.
You got the looks for it, that's for sure.
Screw you.
Oh, thanks.
You. I should have known you were going to say that.
I'm so glad he did.
Well, I'm glad I'm entertaining you. But yeah, I really do like that logo of yours. You know that?
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously tell the red spider part is based on the original back spider logo of on Spider-Man.
Right.
But where did you get the circle with the black cat and the dark blue midnight?
Well, the circle was a design choice. I just thought
Okay.
it looks nicer in a circle. And the cat is based on my cat Shadow,
Oh,
who's an all black cat. The only thing that's not black is her eyes. They're green.
wow. That's cool.
And the design, one of the her eyes is based off of my game. I guess you can call it like my gaming clan. But it's my organization within the Star Citizen community. It's the logo I made for that.
Awesome.
So this way, kind of like incorporating different aspects of my life in one thingy. Right now, I'm just trying to find, because I don't want to have the site on stream, like I accidentally did that one time.
That's
Because I mean, look, I want to help this site, but I don't want to advertise it because then that might draw unwanted attention to them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's a free comic book site that I use.
Okay.
So this way you can I can read all the comics, even new ones, for free, and not have to pay, anyone for.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. You don't want to bring the wrong kind of attention to them by mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah, because these days everyone is gonna get in an uproar and complain about something that's good. Because, I mean, lately Cobra Kai, which I'm obviously a fan of, apparently, that's awesome.
Yeah, art by John Romita Jr.
Wow, so the Mandarin transforms into
cover art was sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
No, never mind. Oh no, I just can't remember from the panel specifically, just because.
But yeah, that's awesome how he transforms into a dragon like that.
That wasn't the Mandarin. The Mandarin's the guy in the bottom right. I mean.
Okay. Well, then who is the guy transforming into the dragon?
Some elder that the Mandarin went to, because I don't remember the specific of the story, but he is trying to take over China again. But you can see what happens here. He's literally using his repulsors right on his hands. They're getting supercharged. His suit's getting supercharged by the rings.
Oh, wow.
And the next panel is a fun one.
Nuclear explosion, like.
So much so that every hero notices it.
Wow. Yeah, I see Peter waking up in bed with MJ. And then there's Thor, and
that is not.
Is that of Marvel's version of Swamp Thing?
Masterson's Thor too.
Yeah.
Because at the time this was 90.
Who was more Thor, Peter or MJ?
Who was more Thor, Peter or MJ? But yeah, is that the Marvel in the upper right where you are? Is that the Marvel version of Swamp Thing?
Well, yes, but it's the other way around.
Man-Thing?
Man-Thing came first.
Okay. Oh, Man-Thing was made before Swamp Thing. Okay.
I think. I mean, I think he's definitely older. I have issues from like the early '60s of Man-Thing. I think it was before Marvel. It was a before Marvel was Marvel character.
I actually
they were doing like just random thriller and mystery and horror comics that didn't really have, where it's just like a detective doing this or that kind of thing. You can see like his suit, the paint is gone. It's just.
But what is that yellow and gold there? Is that like his?
The other. So Rhodey was there at the time too. So
okay.
Both in suits. Tony and Rhodey are both there.
So there were technically two Iron Men there, right?
Yep. because they were in China under the guise of, so the Chinese government wanted, like, the reason they're there is Tony is dying.
Oh.
And he thinks that there's a doctor in China that's doing research that can help him. But because China being a communist dictatorship, they have to get in somehow. He can't just fly in as Iron Man, walk up to the front gate. Especially since, as an Avenger and all that, that might be looked on a bad thing. So they decide, okay, we'll strike a deal with them. They need Iron Man's assistance for something, and as payback for it, they'll give me what I need for my health. Except they don't know that's for my health, but the research. And so they do that. They have Rhodey show up as he has Rhodey show up as Iron Man. He's there as Tony, because in the comics, no one knows that Iron Man and Tony are the same person.
At least back in the comics at that time.
The comics at that time, right?
Yeah, it was like around the time of the Civil War that Iron Man became public.
An Avenger, the armored Avenger, the bodyguard of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
The guy that pissed off anyone in Stark Enterprises. You had to deal with this guy,
And then because of but then it was by the time of the Civil War that he chose to be a public hero.
Before that, it was way before. It was during Marvel's going under in the 90s, a little bit afterwards actually, where they decided that they need to massively change all their characters and stuff, to the point where if you take just anything from 1993 1994 to 1996 and just compare them, and it's like reading two separate characters, and we're talking about the same character. That was the case with Spider-Man, case with Iron Man, in Iron Man's case literally, because they killed off Tony Stark in 1994 or 95 and haven't brought him back.
Wow.
Now you might ask, well, wait, Tony Stark's been in the comics with Civil War and everything, as you mentioned. That's not the same Tony.
Oh.
They brought back a teenage version of him from another dimension, and that's the Tony everyone's been reading about since. So Tony Stark that you're seeing here on the panels, yeah, he died in 94, 95 by King the Conqueror.
Wow. That is, I honestly did not know that. But then again, I haven't really been following the comics too closely.
Mid to late 90s, Marvel was shit.
Wow.
They were going under, and I wouldn't say desperate, just moronic.
Yeah, because I know that they couldn't even keep their Clone Saga straight.
Yeah, look, the Clone Saga was supposed to be like 6 issues.
Yeah. In fact, and actually, technically, that should be called the Clone Saga 2, because there was a Clone Saga even before that.
No, okay. So you're talking about the 74 one where the clone.
Yeah, the one comic or the one or so.
Okay,
comic.
So the whole reason the clone that's no, it wouldn't be Clone Saga 2. That is why the Clone Saga happened. So the 1974, the Jackal blames Peter. You figure out Peter Parker and Spider-Man are one the same. He has DNA from him and Gwen from like science things because he was their teacher. He was in love with Gwen, so he blames Spider-Man for Gwen's death and decides to clone him and fuck with his head. And at the end of that issue, they think that the clone is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, the clone hasn't been dead and has been on this traveling America and being hunted by one of the earlier clones the entire time.
Hmm.
Now, this was all intended for the original story. What was not intended was that the story would go on for 3 years in the real world.
Yeah.
And end with Norman Osborn coming back as Green Goblin, and apparently he was the mastermind behind all of this. No. But a Green Goblin was the mastermind behind all of it.
Let me guess, we're going to reveal that Harry Osborn didn't die?
Yep, because do you know how Harry Osborn died?
I believe he was caught in an explosion and he died of internal injuries.
It had to do with his drug overdose. And he doesn't die on panel. The last time you see him alive is him talking to Peter in the back of an ambulance.
Oh, I thought it was in a hospital.
And then it's implied that he dies when you see the last shot of the panel, the last panel of the comic is the ambulance driving off into the distance.
Okay.
So, plausible death.
So how exactly were they gonna bring Harry back?
Exactly that. It's like he didn't actually die.
Ah. But I mean, he was gonna come back in the Clone Saga, is what I'm saying, right?
No, so this is I have the okay, so here's that digital version of that Clone Saga. All right, let me just so this is pretty much a lot of the things they did do at the time were originally intended. You know that Ben Reilly would take over Spider-Man for a bit.
Yeah.
Reasons are completely different. For starters, Peter Parker was going through some weird, like, they had him constantly angry and overreactive to everything.
Yeah, which is totally not Peter Parker.
It was exactly totally not Peter Parker. And the way it was, like the whole, because it all followed the death of his parents, right?
Yeah.
The death of. It turns out they weren't actually his parents.
Yeah, I know they weren't. They actually weren't dead, but then it was revealed that they were life model decoys sent by the chameleon, right?
Right. To learn who Spider-Man was, and once they did learn that, their programming would have them go back to Chameleon and just completely like write off Peter Parker. But the mother actually grew an attachment and all that. But like here, this is literally there we go. So the beginning of the story of the Clone Saga, the real Clone Saga. It's a controversial Clone Saga. Like this is how it's supposed to go. And he opens up with how the most recent thing he did was having to fight off his parents that were, even suckered me to, because you learn he actually learns later on, before the Clone Saga happens, that Harry was behind the chameleon making life model decoys of Peter's parents.
Oh.
So that was Harry behind that.
And then when the Green Goblin would show up, it would be obvious that the Green Goblin was Harry, right?
Right. But here's the thing, Harry's dead. He just thought it was like some kind of pre-planned post-death thing. Like if Harry died, he'd torture Peter with this.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference between Harry's Green Goblin and Norman's Green Goblin. Harry was always out to torture Peter.
Uh-huh.
And Norman was very different. He was more black and white compared to Harry.
Yeah.
He was always either one of two things: power, or just trying to kill Spider-Man, make him suffer, and then kill him. Like make him suffer, more like a, cheesy villain where it's like, oh, we're going to torture you and then kill you, versus Harry was more intellectual. He was more, I'm going to literally ruin your life so that you wish you were dead. And so here, one of the ways, so Ben Reilly in the original version dies by getting impaled by a goblin glider meant for Peter, whereas here he gets impaled but doesn't die.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't meant for Peter. He was swinging around as Spider-Man, and all of a sudden he just he runs into some guy going, "Oh, I'm the Green Goblin. I'm here." And he's like, "Last time, here." You're kidding. Like, it's only fair to warn you, everyone who wears that costume ends up dead. And it doesn't go well for him.
Hmm. Yeah, that sucks.
Full impalement right there.
Hey,
Two is in the comics, like Peter and Ben hated each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's my clone. Versus here, they're like brothers to each other.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense. I mean, look, yeah, you probably wouldn't get along perfectly with yourself, right, in the form of another being, but that's why it's fair to say like they'd be like brothers.
Yeah.
I don't get along with my brother all the time.
No, but you still get along in other times, right?
Here at the beginning of issue 5 here, like, oh no, we can't possibly face this. Guess what they're doing? They're building a baby baby
That is funny. That is funny.
For Peter's to-be daughter.
Yeah. Who the damn idiots at Marvel have retconned out of existence.
That's the thing, is they had her killed in the 90s version, where it's like it was a stillborn or it was captured or like kidnapped. No one really knows, and they never ever followed up on it.
No, because they want Spider-Man to live in a bubble, being a teenager in high school.
Right,
idiots.
Kind of like how what they used to do with Superman way back when, before David Michelini took over.
Except, lest they forget, Spider-Man's best years were when he was in college.
Also, actually that and post college too.
Yeah,
80s, where he was actually like going from job as photographer to job as lab assistant to job back as a photographer. He was bouncing back and forth between the fields. And I gotta say, this was just so cool to see. Like, they never ever did this in the 90s version, where you would have both essentially two Spider-Men like this.
Yeah, they actually could have came close to doing something like that in the Raimi films if they had not killed off Harry Osborn's new Goblin and Harry had lived to redeem himself. You could have had Harry and Peter swinging / flying through the city.
No, this is different. You literally have because look, I'm not a fan of the whole Spider-Verse thing. I feel like it actually
takes away from Peter, right?
It takes away from just any of the Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Even like 2099 Miguel O'Hara, sorry.
Yeah.
And hell, even from the Miles Morales one too, especially since he already takes away from himself, in my opinion, just in his own universe. Because it's like with the exception of the PS4 version, every version of that character revolves around having Peter Parker die so that he can become Spider-Man. Yeah. Which, people can disagree with me on that. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it was into the
because to me, and I'm a diehard Spider-Man fan, but when I say this, I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because it's true, and that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. It's not like they're different entities. It's not like a mantle, like the Bat. It's when the only difference between them is one wears a mask and cracks more jokes. Yeah. Aside from that, it's Peter Parker the entire time. The only difference is, blue and red pajamas. So,
yeah, because that's what I found. I can tell the difference between Miguel O'Hara from 2099 and Peter Parker in that even though they both call themselves Spider-Man, they are two completely different characters. Peter Parker, was.
And that's another thing too, is right there, Miguel O'Hara still Miguel O'Hara when he's wearing the mask as well. So yeah,
it's
just the other way around. He makes more jokes as Miguel than he does as Spider-Man.
Yeah. And whatchamacallit, because that's one of the reasons why I liked what is it? Spider-Man not Shattered Dimensions, the sequel, Edge of Time, that's what it is. Because
I didn't like that one just because I wasn't a fan of the. I love what they do with 2099, except for one thing.
What?
Voice actor. I love the voice actor because he's the voice of Spider-Man, not the S-Man.
Yeah.
Because it was the voice of the 90s cartoon Spidey.
Because I know that it's
disorienting, and like crippling to the game, disorienting for me.
Yeah, because I know in Shattered Dimensions, the
perfect casting, even for 2099. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, the 2099 Spidey in the Shattered Dimensions, he was voiced by Spider-Man from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
I think so, because again, Miguel O'Hara is he's not. I was about to say he's Hispanic, but he's He is. He is Hispanic. Yeah, he's a Hispanic American.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying. I have to remember that his father is not actually his father.
Mm-hmm.
Because spoilers for a now 30-year-old comic, but
Yeah.
his
No
father
worries.
is actually his
Like I
father.
said, I don't follow comics too closely. I just mostly gloss over as much as possible so that I have the info as ASAP.
See, I grew up reading all this stuff, so it's like engraved and lasered into my brain.
Ah,
But this is like Kane here. He's an original clone. He's the first Peter
the
Parker.
first clone of Spider-Man, and he's evil, right?
He's not evil. He's just not good.
Okay, so like very, very, very
I like it. Like, because again, it's like, well, how does a clone of Peter Parker with all of his memories and everything, become evil? And you find out because this lady kidnaps the kid. Like, unlike the other comic where it's like it's on shirt and like they're trying to make it mystery and intrigue, except they never follow up on it, and they never have like you'd think, okay, immediately after they have the kid, they're told it's dead, but then there's evidence that suggests that it's not dead; it was just taken. You'd think Spider-Man would search, from Earth to Asgard to Hell and back for this kid. But you can see here, this is when Kane starts losing his evilness, I guess,
Yeah.
where it's like, little May, I think she says,
he's wondering
May.
why it's the right to be doing for him to be doing this.
And you can see like, oh, look, his emotions finally come back to him, where it's like they named her May.
And who was that lady who took the baby? Because the way she has dark hair, but she's got white streaks, it's giving me a real rogue vibe.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's some random lady. But
I think Cruella de Vil, but she only likes dogs.
But yeah, it's pretty much all of this is just for Harry to torture Peter, like to kidnap the baby and everything. It's because again, throughout this entire story, the original Clone Saga, like when I say original, I mean the original draft, which I guess would be this one.
Okay.
So
someone actually got around to making the original draft of the story and
before
publicly
bankruptcy that forced them to stretch it for 3 years. They
trash it or just shelve it.
Yeah, this guy would keep giving Kane orders. You never know who he is.
But it was supposed
he
to be
wants
Harry.
to clone Norman Osborn, and later, at some point, he does. He clones Norman Osborn, and there he is. And then obviously we got that, and turns out, he thinks like you're trying to mess with him or whatever, and turns out no, you're just bait.
Oh wow! So basically, Green Goblin is doing to Ben Reilly what Joker did to Jason Todd there,
sort of
beating him and then holding him as bait.
And I love this too, is because Harry is pretty unstable. He's always been a little unstable thanks to the his drug-full youth.
Wow. And
he goes here, like he tells you exactly what his plan was. You're a pawn born in the test tube. Like you were literally created to be a pawn and to be used in my obsession to torture Peter.
Uh-huh. I'll tell you this: if that building blew up just as Peter was arriving, and then
because they have a giant battle in it.
Okay, but yeah, I'm just saying that definitely looked like Spider-Man's version of A Death in the Family.
Oh yeah. But here's like, I'll let you in on a little secret. And
wow, it's Harry the whole time. Wow. So technically, Harry Osborn was supposed to be the one to kill.
Remember, I said he died in an ambulance, quote unquote, died of a heart attack from his drug days.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, you weren't gonna like check the body?
Huh. But yeah, I will say, whatchamacallit, so Harry was supposed to be the killer of Ben Reilly, right?
Sort of. They don't actually kill Ben in this story.
Oh.
The
Oh
only
wow, I do like that.
the only person to die.
Fireworks shaped like. I like
So-
that. The fireworks shaped like the goblin head.
Yeah, to kind of let you. Yeah, like he had to do something to get
Yeah,
Spider.
that's good art. Whoever did that, they really did a good job.
Yeah, I like the artist here.
Yeah, it must be difficult to
Really,
do
don't like
neon
the
lighting on a paper.
I don't like the some of the shading,
Yeah,
but I love how he does shiny objects, and
Yeah.
his poses are great.
hmm Maybe this guy should be doing more of the comics of Spider-Man today, and maybe other comics.
Or he could be doing all of them because they're all
Yeah, because Marvel really has gone down the tube.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll go into that soon too, if you want.
Yeah. Well,
But,
only if
this
you
is the
want
thing
to,
is he
I mean,
cloned, because remember,
I can criticize a bunch of things right now about it.
yeah. What, this or Marvel?
No, about Marvel Comics right now. Plot twist, I didn't kill him. Wait, LOL. That's funny, right? Wow. That's an intense fight.
Yeah, well, the dude's been waiting like a year for this.
Wow, he was playing the long game. And I would think that he would like want to be want to, do it ASAP, but no, he played the long game.
Like, and here's the thing: is he loves screwing with Peter so much that where he's like insulted at the fact that he thinks he's a clone. Like, really, you couldn't, like that's what you think after everything that we've been through, and then he just makes one line that makes him question everything.
Oh wow!
And uses that to just full on blast him in the face while he's caught off guard.
Wow!
Like spider sense and everything.
You're still on your Discord, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you like, could you leave the link to this site? I know you said you didn't want.
Oh yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, Discord is pretty much the only way I spread this.
Okay. Yeah. That way I can I can visit this site anytime and look into this further. Thank you.
It's a really really useful site.
Okay. Thank you.
If you're gonna look for, like, for instance, a specific issue of Amazing Spider-Man, 127 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to Google search here for Spider-Man, and then you'll have a bunch of stuff. Look for the one that has 1963 in parentheses.
Okay.
That's gonna be it's inaccurate, but that's it usually has the year that the line started.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, pretty much the only person that dies in this story is Norman Osborn again.
Norman. Oh, so he was successfully cloned?
They successfully cloned him, but they
But he was too unstable that he even attacked
no,
Harry?
he was just they cloned him from, I guess, a sample of his DNA either before he really went crazy as the Goblin, or just before he became the Goblin.
Wow.
So at least the memory parts, I guess.
Wow. But was he so unstable that he'd even attack Harry?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Wow. And
And
Harry
where Harry plans on impaling Peter while keeping him off guard, so his spider sense can't, has too much to cope with. And then Norman gets impaled again.
Wow. History repeated itself.
Yep. All because Harry was so mentally messed up by the lack of his father's presence.
Wow.
The drugs that were led because of that. And then his obsession of trying to be closer to him and becoming the Green Goblin, and his mental instability and hating Peter Parker. All of a sudden, it all just adds up to him oh, I need to clone him so I can have him with me again. And he didn't actually think well, what about him? What about what he thinks of that? And Kane, because he realizes, holy crap, I'm technically now an uncle,
Wow.
delivers the baby back.
Baby back. I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
No, it's fine. And like here, like part of his Peter Parker is coming back to the surface, where like Aunt May asks him, "Do I know you?" And he goes, "No," and that's my loss. Because and that's one of the things I thought the original clone, the '90s Clone Saga did right.
Yeah.
Was how they killed Aunt May.
Oh wow.
Awful as that sounds, they did it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Where it's super emotional, impactful thing. She's just old. Everything's failing.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I hate One More Day / Brand New Day is because, Peter had a chance to move on from her again, but instead they throw away his marriage to MJ. What the hell?
Well, no, here's seriously. And what the whole thing was when they had her tombstone, which I didn't like, I always laugh now whenever I see the Spider-Man PS4 game ending. Yeah. And Spam Risk is calling from Red Oak, Illinois. Okay. Sorry, Red Oak, Iowa. I don't know.
My stepdad thinks it's Deadpool considering the ringtone.
Yeah. Hey DP, what's up? No, but they just because what was the headstone in the PS4 game? I don't remember what they said.
I forget, but
I think it was a quote from the game, right? Like something she said in the game.
I think so.
Yeah, in the comic in 1994 when she died, or quote unquote died, turned out to be like some actress or whatever that was made to look like her because a bunch of bullshit and the story was horrible and they had to retcon all the writing they did for the sake of resetting everything back to zero. So it said on Uncle Ben's tombstone, he was loved, and on Aunt May's it said she taught us love, and I thought that was a heart-hitting line right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, they're happy. They got the kid back. He's still alive. Scarlet Spider lives on.
Okay.
That was the end.
Wow. That's a better Clone Saga, I think. Yeah.
And now you just created a new character that you can add as a new comic book title to your roster. Wouldn't you think that would have been more successful? Especially when you're going when you're going under, you probably want to close down the amount of titles you have.
Huh. Yeah, because that's the problem with Marvel these days is they're so dead set on a status quo, and then they're also all about what is the darn phrase? Rewriting history.
Yeah, that's the thing is Marvel loves, and I mean loves, like has a fetish almost for retconning characters and origins and those types of things.
And DC has a bad habit of that as well, because every time there's
it's not anywhere near as bad.
Well, no, but like every time there's a crisis, that's when that's a perfect excuse to change things up.
Oh, by the way, that real Clone Saga story that came out in 2006. I remember collecting the issues.
Wow. So they had to wait at least 10 years to actually release it.
Yeah, because the original Clone Saga ended in 1996, and I have all of those issues too, unfortunately.
Wow.
But the real Clone Saga is what that story is called. 6 issues, pretty solid stuff. I think the facial expressions could be a little exaggerated at times, but honestly, that's really nothing new to Spider-Man comics since the since the 90s, when Sal Buscema was the inker for Spectacular Spider-Man. Facial expressions being very over-exaggerated was quite common.
Understandable. Sometimes it's kind of hard to nail perfect emotions in still art.
Sal Buscema was just the inker and or colorists. So, a lot of the blame still falls on the penciler a bit. But he didn't help anything.
No.
It's a shame, though, because I really, really do like Sal Buscema on Thor in '85.
Yeah.
He was, because Sal Buscema and Walt Simonson created Beta Ray Bill in 1985.
Huh.
Great artwork and great storytelling.
Awesome.
And of all characters, Thor. Not saying that, like, how's Thor a good character, but just like, a B-list character with, like, triple A quality, or what should be triple A quality writing.
Yeah.
And art.
I will say this: my Blue Shogun story. Oh, you finished.
Oh no, that was saying it just made Thor feel more human, more relatable.
Oh, okay.
Or someone that's immortal from another dimension.
Okay. But yeah, I will say this: the guy who did the art for that real Spider-Man Clone Saga, if I had to hire an artist to do my Blue Shogun series, that would be the artist. That's the kind of art I would like to use.
Yeah.
And so
obviously Ironman 2020 was something from 1985. He actually, if we go back here, that's all right. So where is it? Okay, so the only reason why I know a lot about this character is because of how I was introduced to him.
Yeah.
In the Amazing Spider-Man Annual.
Wow.
Number
That
20.
is an intense look. And, he's fighting Black Spider-Man?
Well, this is 1985, so it's just a cloth suit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. And then MJ was the reason that he no longer wore it anymore.
And 1988.
Yeah, that was bogus.
Introduced after his first fight with Venom. Since Venom pretty much freaking scarred her for life by just appearing in her apartment with that grin. So, but this is the year, because it's 1985. 2015. This is Arno Stark, the Iron Man of the future.
Arnold Stark, is he the son or grandson?
I think it was. I remember it saying. I just don't remember. I just remember that he has a wife and kid that survived the issue.
Interesting.
But I like the suit design. How it's kind of like.
I like his ego and how he's overly macho with his poses.
Yeah, and also the fact that this Iron Man is very showboaty. Showboaty Iron Man.
More showboaty than Stark, I think.
Well, original Stark was not as showboaty as the movies and the pretty much the naughties version of the character would have you believe.
Well, I know one thing. If you were to compare this Arno Stark to Tony Stark from the MCU, I think this one Arno is.
This guy would give Robert Downey Jr. a run for his money for sure.
Absolutely.
Arno Stark. It takes the death of his family to kind of calm him down.
Wow. Okay, spoiler there. But
also, the artist here has a hard-on for Star Wars, and for good reason.
Huh.
So then you jump back to the 80s and then back to.
Oh wow, that looks like the X-wing.
Yep, it gets there's more.
And he's got one guy there has a Terminator eye.
Yeah, he actually reminds me more of
Kano.
Deathlock.
Oh, I was gonna say Kano from Mortal Kombat, but okay.
Deathlock, who came before Kano.
I almost forget about Deathlock.
But here you got a speeder bike.
Oh wow.
Actually, a lot of this art reminds me of some of those 80s Star Wars comics. So odds are it's probably the same artist.
Wow. Well, Star Wars was
this guy dies
back in the day.
Pretty much the story here was this guy dies, but he set a nuke off, like this prototype nuke that's supposed to be like, it's essentially like it's the new hydrogen bomb of the 21st century, because
wow,
this was written in 1985. So they need his optical. They need his eye pretty much to get past the bomb that they defused, and he died in a fiery explosion. So that's not going to happen. So they managed to track him down in 1985. Time travel. And Iron Man of the future meets Spider-Man. And it does not go well for Iron Man.
Really?
You ever want to like? Here's the thing: people underrate how strong Spider-Man is. And I'm just trying to find the time because here we are. So, first of all, this Iron Man of the future, every single inch of his suit is some sort of weapon. I love it. Fingertips, the palms, his forearms, pretty much the entire gauntlet is one giant, battalion of weaponry. He even has a gun that comes out of his forearm. Just a regular gun, because why not?
Huh. So he's so powerful, yet not enough to defeat Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, and here's why: because he almost killed a kid, and that really pissed off the web slinger.
Oh wow!
And Spider-Man thinks he's fighting Tony, although Spider-Man doesn't know that Tony is Iron Man. But
So basically,
regular Iron Man that's gone completely whacked off hinge.
So basically, Iron Man 2020 is the Terminator.
Yeah, in this story, pretty much. Time
travel back from the 2020s to kill a kid.
Yep. Just maim him, take his eye.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he comes back. Awesome. A specific kid. Oh my god, what the hell is that?
Well, what happened?
Cats, stop it.
What happened?
Cats were fighting.
I thought so.
I thought so too.
I wanted the last chicken fingers.
Oh, I got something for you real quick. Give me a quick moment. I actually got this in my own DMs on there we go. Going to real quickly close your thing for a quick moment on screen share, because this you're gonna love.
Sure. Our human is an asshole.
Yeah.
I have to do that.
Yeah, because that's cat food on a bowl. It's in the middle of filling up a little kiddie pool, and the only way they can get it is to step into the water.
Here's the thing: cats. It's not that cats don't like being. It's not like that cats don't like water. They don't like being wet.
Ah.
So pretty much, yeah, they'll swim and everything. That's fine. But the problem is now they're wet and they can't just instantly dry off.
Ah.
So that's what they don't like.
Yeah. All right.
I'm probably going to need to do that. But yeah, it's pretty much Terminator. And that's what's great about it. Is where it's like, okay, Iron Man of the future has to come and get some kid's eye so that he can stop a nuclear bomb going off literally in his factory, killing everyone, including his family.
Wow.
And he has a specific amount of time to do it in. Like, time is moving even as he's in the past.
Yeah.
And now he has to deal with Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing I like to think about too when it comes to time travel. Sometimes, if depending on what the mechanics of time travel you use, sometimes the amount of time you spend wasting in the future, the same amount of time is passing in for the person who already traveled to the past. Because
so here he traveled to the past, and every minute he spends in the past is a minute in the future as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I remember the Terminator arrived first, And then right after he killed the thugs, that's when Kyle Reese arrived. So you have from the point the Terminator
sending the T8 the T800 back, and then the Resistance taking the TDE and sending Kyle back.
Yeah.
And here. And the thing is, he thinks like, because he had more time.
Yeah.
Problem is, it wasn't his calculations and everything were right, but the bomb was faulty.
Oh, wow.
It detonated early.
So he wasted his whole
time. He never had a chance.
Wow. That sucks.
And then they continued onward with Machine Man.
Oh.
Where they have Iron Man go up against him.
Yeah, and I like the art there. Really detailed. I think I might have to look into this Iron Man 2020 and Machine Man.
So Walt Simonson actually did an Iron Man 2020 comic in 1994, and I have this. It is great.
Awesome.
And it pretty much follows up, like it's post the whole story with Spider-Man and everything.
Wow.
And it opens up like a movie.
Interesting. Kind of like Alien, or Aliens, I think. I mean.
Still very 90s, but here he's like the dude, Stark is pretty much on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah, because of the fact that he lost everything.
Because he lost everything. And because he had a fight with Machine Man, he doesn't think he's fit to wear the armor anymore.
Wow.
But at the same time, it's all he's got left.
Yeah. And he's not as showboaty as he was.
Nope.
I wonder if maybe
losing your family will take that pep out of your step.
I wonder if maybe this Iron Man, some of this Iron Man's showboatiness was what incorporated into the MCU.
Oh, probably. But I love the art here.
Yeah.
Nice and clean.
What is with that brown swirl on his jacket?
I don't know.
If that's supposed to be hair or some kind of design, I'm sorry, it's just too distracting and ugly.
I know. I guess the artist felt that he needed to do something. Maybe it's his company logo. I don't know.
Well, if it's supposed to be some kind of futuristic military design, it's a bad one.
Logo. Because it's Wellington.
Yeah, it must be some kind of design, and I'm sorry, but that's ugly.
Hey, no,
I mean the wrist things are okay. It's the shoulder and part that's ugly.
No, I agree. It's if it wasn't as curvy, it might be different.
Yeah, like maybe just stripes. I can go with that.
No, I was just going maybe like it's all angular and there's no curvature on it. That would
okay, yeah. Yeah, because it looks like somebody dropped some mud on him.
It looks like an espresso logo on it.
Yeah.
So these guys are attacking. This guy orchestrated a test of Iron Man's skills for his own benefit by having goons attack him while he was distracted. And this is what I love about the suit in the comics that they never really got in the movies.
Yeah.
Especially the future suit, which is the most advanced high-tech version of Iron Man we've ever seen.
Yeah.
2020 suit. Where it's like, it's got a force field. Of course it's got energy shields,
Yeah. They never actually used force fields and energy shields in the movies. And that's a shame.
No, it was all that, and that's what I don't like about the movies is that it doesn't I loved the original the first two films.
You kind of broke up a little there.
Oh, I was saying I like the first two films and Avengers as well, but after that it kind of feels like The only difference now is the aesthetics and maybe a weapon or two. It's not like how in the comics every new suit had like a major new feature / aesthetic change, like major aesthetic change. Whereas in the suit, the movies, they still feel like a very, like even the more advanced suits he's wearing still look and feel more like just a better looking version of his clunky armor.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's one of the things that made Iron Man merchandise great is the fact that not only did each suit have a unique color and design, but it also had its own unique skills that the other suits did not. No
Right, like his
no,
stealth suit from the...
yeah, like there was the drill suit, there was the samurai suit, there was the Crimson Dynamo suit, I think.
Well, that was Crimson Dynamo. That wasn't his.
Oh yeah, but I think he had like a version similar to Crimson Dynamo that was
He had the Hydro suit, which is much like a giant scuba diving suit that the Iron Man suit can fit into. So it's like a suit for a suit.
Yeah, and then there was the space suit, and then there was the Hulkbuster suit.
Part 2. There was the big red and gold classic, Silver Centurion.
Yeah, and like I did mention, that the second one I mentioned, in the 90s, there was actually a suit that was featured in the second season's opening animation, but never, and it was made into in part of the toy line, but we never actually saw it in action. The samurai suit. I really am. It's like a green and black, but it has silver pauldrons or something, shoulder pads. It really is awesome. I really would like to have seen more of that.
That's probably a reference to the first time you see the War Machine armor in the comics.
Ah.
The first time you see the War Machine armor, he's fighting samurai-themed assassins.
Ah. Seems like your cats are getting frustrated.
No, just one. He just wants to get outside so he can continue attacking the other cat. He wants to attack Shadow and dominance. You're twice her age, and she's already shown you that she can kick your ass. What do you want?
I guess his pride can't handle it.
But this looks great. I mean, that doesn't when you look at it together, but I love how he disguises himself as a scrap heap.
Yeah.
Or he hides in a scrap pile.
I like the design of the police badge on that one cap.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Also, those knuckles. Like the fingertips, the knuckles, and the palms each have different type of projectiles, and also great 90s guns.
Yeah. Big guns that should not be lifted by someone of that height.
Or just shouldn't be. I mean, look, I can believe this guy can lift a
guy. I thought that was a chick.
Okay, either way. Yeah, it's definitely a chick. Never mind. Look, I can believe a chick can lift that gun, but there's got to be like some kind of harness that goes around the chest, or it's got to be mounted on the ground somewhere. Otherwise, how the hell?
Yeah, I mean that's like Jill Valentine in Resident Evil Remake lifting that rail gun.
Exactly. Where she's just like jogging around with that thing. Like how?
Yeah, I mean I can buy a Terminator lifting that rail gun in Resident Evil 3 Remake, but Jill Valentine, I'm sorry, chick, but no way.
Yeah. Also, here's that gun I mentioned.
Oh wow, he has it up his gauntlet.
It just comes out of the extra armor.
Wow.
And he has like actual projectiles. It's a freaking weapon.
It is a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
You know what would have made what would have made an interesting Iron Man is that aside from what I think we should get with an actual Mandarin, we should also get a time travel story where a futuristic Iron Man, like 2020 Iron Man, comes back and he's like, you kind of do like what we just saw, 2020 Iron Man versus Spider-Man, except have it be 2020 Iron Man versus Tony Stark Iron Man.
I think they did that too. I just don't remember where it is, but there was a Arnold Stark versus Tony Stark Iron Man. I believe Iron Man, the suit Iron Man was in at the time was the telepresence unit, which is not actually a suit because at the time Tony was an invalid, so he controlled Iron Man, essentially controlled a robot Iron Man. The design of the suit, though, you'll recognize from the Spider-Man animated series. It's the same exact design.
Okay.
And this old guy here that's like advising her, like he built that giant mech and everything. It's old Tony Stark. And that's the modular armor there, which was from '94.
Impressive.
It is you'll recognize it from the animated series too.
Yeah. Now, I do know that in 2099, Stark Enterprises merged with something called Fujikawa, I think.
Yeah, so Stark Fujikawa, where it's completely run. It's like a very Japanese, all about honor, except their version of honor involves a lot of death and gore.
Oh, so basically, they're not exactly a benevolent organization.
Yeah, benevolent.
So basically, they're not like Stark Enterprises, or at least
no, not at all. Nope. They're just running Stark's good name through the dirt and back.
Oh wow! So basically, it's kind of like Wayne Powers from Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Right?
Excellent. Yeah.
Wow. Good comparison on my part, I guess.
Well, yeah, because they pretty much. If you watch, like, whenever I watch Batman Beyond, I'm instantly pointing out I enjoy it. I love Batman Beyond, but at the same time, I cannot help myself but notice all of the, that's that's from 2099. They took that from 2099, and that, like the whole Wayne Powers and Stark Fujikawa, and the whole thing was because again, you meet the character. The new version of the character has a pre-established girlfriend and everything like that. 2099, he already had a fiance when you meet Spider-Man.
Wow. Interesting. And I do know that in 2099, there's this corporation called Alchemax, and they're like
So that's the one that Spidey works for. And
they're the corporation that practically runs the police, and they have their own.
They pretty much are the government for New York.
Yeah.
Now, New York now is not the size that it is right now. It's huge. It's like across.
Yeah. I think it's called Neo York or something.
New York.
Yeah. But I do know that in the 2014 Spider-Man or 2000 something Spider-Man game, by Insomniac, when MJ was like doing her investigation into Tombstone, she came.
The PS4 game. Yeah.
Yeah, she came across some barrels that had Alchemax on them. I think that was
a clear-cut reference, but
yeah, but I know that Alchemax is technically not supposed to be around by this point in time. Is that right?
No, it wouldn't be.
Oh, okay, just in its infant stages.
No, it wouldn't be around at that time.
Oh, okay. So so Alchemax was not a thing until
they purposely leave the time between unlike Batman Beyond, where they constantly make references of between shows, like you can literally, there's a built-in timeline now, like between Amanda Waller from Epilogue, where she explains how Batman Beyond came to be and all that. In 2099 they purposefully keep it vague, so you never actually know what happened between 1992 and 2099, which 1992 is when Spider-Man 2099 came out.
So you never know when really Alchemax even started, right?
Right.
Okay. So they can get away with that little Easter egg of Alchemax barrels in like 2000 something, right?
Well, also, again, it's its own continuity. I think even in the current comics, they have Alchemax as a thing, but the current comics are pretty much like an alternate continuity in themselves, as I mentioned earlier. So,
okay. Well, that does make sense, I guess, because I was wondering about that.
I just also like the artist for this is great. Like, it's a little stylized, but it works. You know what it kind of reminds me of, though? Reminds me of the 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Yeah, it's one of those things where I can't imagine any other artist doing 2099 Spidey.
Yeah.
Like this, it's iconic. It's classic. And fun fact, he doesn't have spider sense.
Yeah, I know, because he got his powers in a different way compared to actual Spider-Man. Yes, actual Spidey got bitten by a radioactive spider, and this Spidey just got genetically spliced with one.
Oh yeah, he's got talents and things.
Oh wow, that's what he's like without the mask.
Yeah.
Wow. So he definitely has that vampire look to him.
Yep. And I mean, the talents he learns to control, like he can actually like
He can retract them.
the way he finds out is hilarious. And actually, I love 2099 is what inspired my character creation of Ace, who is an artificial intelligence.
Awesome.
And she is very heavily inspired by Spidey's AI in 2099, Lila. But here, and he learned, yeah, that's Lila. He learns that he can do it by pressing the fingers on his chest. And like, oh, they retract.
Huh.
He's like, good. Otherwise, picking my brain would be lethal, or picking my nose would be lethal because.
Sorry about that, kitty. But yeah, yeah, this is great.
I'm not sleeping. Oh, why the cat?
Yeah, I think it was the image of him without his mask.
Oh, could be worse.
Yeah, could be.
And also the costume, he doesn't design it himself. It's just some store-bought costume.
Mm.
However, the version he has is made of UMF.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was partially inspired by Punisher with his own logo.
No, this is some Day of the Dead festival costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I always wondered if he's a Spider-Man type character, why does he have a skull and not a spider?
Well, he has killed 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
Just ignore him.
No, don't worry.
He's half Siamese and kvetches all the time. I've had him do exactly what he's doing right now, and then I go to him, and he just jumps on the couch and then rolls over.
Ah.
So he'll do that that's what he wants, attention.
Huh.
When you give him attention, he turns around and bites you.
When you give him attention, he turns around and bites you.
No, I give him attention, and then I'm gonna go away. He'll start doing this all over again. So, but he also has a web cape, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I understand what they tried to do when they tried to do the armpit webs for Spidey. They thought
the movies. Oh, yes, no.
I mean, in the movies it makes sense, it's for gliding and all that. But I mean, like in the old comics, it didn't seem to make sense at first.
In the old comics, it was just an aesthetic thing, and he got rid of them.
Yeah.
Here, this is actually a functional thing. It's made from an old a glider he tore up.
Wow.
Earlier on.
Okay. And that's another thing I did like about Spider-Man Unlimited. He not only had a suit that had invisible cloaking, but also he did have the web cape.
Yeah, this glider this Thorite is using. That's what becomes his web cape.
Okay. Now
he tears it up, and the Thor guy's like, "Here, take it."
Yeah. Now the Thor 2099, is it still the same Thor from our time, or is it a different one?
Would you like to see how hilarious he looks?
Okay.
If I can find it. I think it's this one. Yes.
Wow, he's very colorful.
Yep. So it is not actually Thor at all.
So who is he?
Just some random, I think some like random priest because Thor has now like become a religion.
Oh, wow.
In 2099. So you have like Thor rites. So it was like some Thor priest. Like all of the Asgardians you see in 2099 were actually created by Alchemax as like a way to say, hey, these are the real heroes, heroes that they can control.
Yeah.
Versus the heroes that are just popping up like they were in the 60s.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and then Punisher and Doom. Yes, because Dr. Doom is a hero in the year 2099. And he's badass as well. Also, Spidey meets the Punisher, which is great.
Wow. Punisher 2099. Is he in any relation to Frank Castle?
No, he's a cop.
Just a cop. And
no, I think he has a split personality. Part of one personality is a cop, and the other one is the Punisher.
Oh, okay. What is his real name?
Jake Gallows.
Jake Gallows. Interesting. And I do believe there are. I actually have the comic X-Men 2099, but I haven't actually full on read it yet.
Yeah,
but I am interested by the character designs.
Oh, X-Men 2099 are great. If you want a good intro into all of them, they did a crossover called the Fall of the Hammer or the Hammer Falls. Where all of this comes in, where this floating city and everything.
Interesting.
Doom 2099. And a creation of Stan Lee himself, Ravage. But this is Dr. Doom, the one and only.
Awesome. And he's actually a good guy in this series.
He traveled from the past to the future, and he's a good guy.
Wow.
Later on, the Fantastic Four are also in 2099. So.
Oh, wow. So Dr. Doom in 2099 is basically our Dr. Doom having redeemed himself in 2099.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had to take back Latveria from a cyborg who was ruling it.
Wow. But then how does because I mean, with all the bad things Doom has done in our time, how does he eventually get to that thing?
Look, he might be a good guy, but he's still not a nice guy.
Yeah. He's capable of doing bad things, yeah.
He's just, hey, now I'm fighting for the side of good as opposed to, like, I'm trying to take over the world and make you all my peasants.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And who's that guy, that Thor wannabe there?
He's just some schmuck that Spidey likes torturing.
Awesome.
What's great is early on in the
right now they're making Miguel O'Hara in that unmasking kind of resemble Peter Parker.
Yeah, so he spoilers, he kills this guy.
Oh wow, the samurai dude.
Unintentionally, but he does kill him.
Wow. So some people may have been harmed in the making of this comic.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
Oh wow, you got a heavy set Spider-Man 2099 there.
Look, it's all the different classes of NPCs that you can go up against. So this is Miguel O'Hara's mother. She's crazy.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
You kidding me? You have a son like that? You think that the mother is normal?
That's true. That's a good point.
What was he? No, it wasn't in this issue. It was in the next one.
Well, while you're trying to find it, would you like to hear a little bit about my blue Shogun?
Of course.
Okay, well, I will do my best to keep spoilers to a very, very, very minimum because I don't want to ruin the story before I publish it. Basically inspired by a lot of things: Star Wars, superheroes, samurai films, and 80s action and 90s action films and such. Basically, Blue Shogun is meant to be both a myth as well as a modern day superhero. It's what are you talking to me? Sorry, my stepdad's throwing me off. Anyways, basically, the Blue Shogun starts in feudal Japan, and he basically is like a legendary figure, but at the same time, in current day and age, there's this kid, Ben Taylor, and he basically is trying to live his ordinary life. Then one day, his life gets turned upside down. as magical demons pour through a magic time portal from feudal Japan. And along with those demons comes the Blue Shogun. The Blue Shogun is trying to stop the demons, and Ben gets caught up in the whole adventure. And then he rescued by the Blue Shogun and brought back to feudal Japan. And therefore he learns more about his Japanese roots while he's there. And so basically the Blue Shogun is learning just as much about Ben's future and is being inspired by it, to the point where he has to go from being a Japanese myth to America's greatest hero.
Nice.
What do you think?
I like it.
You think it has potential?
Definitely. I like the idea of you have something where it's like it's forgotten, it was lost to time, and it's making a comeback, and like that, and then how that affects the world around it.
Yeah, especially considering another thing that was inspired by it was one of my favorite animes called Inuyasha. Basically, there was this a time in ancient Japan of demons and half demons. Inuyasha is the main character. He got pinned to a tree by magic, but then by modern times, there was this Japanese girl who discovered a well that led back in time to feudal Japan. She accidentally frees him, and so they go off on adventures together. So I figure that little bit inspired the story of my Blue Shogun character.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there are going to be more time-traveling shenanigans that are going to make things even crazier. Because when you combine two different time lines in history, you know something's going to go a little wonky here and there.
And that's the thing, is you're creating this with time travel in mind.
Yeah.
So that's always good. Because I notice whenever you just force time travel into something, it never works.
Yeah. And not to mention, I'm kind of taking a page out of the original Terminator movie's playbook, in that I'm not trying to, make the time travel a plot device. Well, not just a device or something convoluted like everyone tries to go in depth on the explanations. I'm basically trying to make it where it's just a tool to tell the story, to tell good character-driven stories.
Look, if you ask me, the only times time travel works in really any storytelling is frequency. The first two Terminator films, but I mean it's the same premise in both, but more so the first one, I think.
Yeah.
And Back to the Future.
Okay, but what do you mean by frequency?
Frequency is a movie where there's not time travel, but I'd call it time manipulation.
Okay.
You have a father, a kid's father dies in 1969. He's the father was a firefighter, and he died rescuing someone, saving her. But in the attempt of rescuing them, they both didn't make it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, one night, he's messing with the the son, now a cop, in 1999, messes around with the ham radio during an Aurora Borealis, and that allows him to talk to his father on the same ham radio 30 years in the past, and he's able to save his father's life, but then that changes the world around him.
Yeah.
And they have to solve the problems together.
Yeah. Find a way to get things back to the way he remembers them, but also
they try to make them better, or at the very least, because then it becomes, okay, I saved your life, but now mom gets killed that same year
by something else.
Mom, and it's stuff like that kind of thing. And
yeah.
The track down the serial killer, and it's a really good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean,
per se, but it's they'll have, the father collects evidence. I need you to give it to, now we need to get the evidence though to the cop in the future. How do we do that? We'll just hide it somewhere in the house, and I'll find it tonight.
Okay.
But tell me where you're gonna hide it. It's and he does it. And the second he puts it down, doesn't even finish hiding it. The father tells him where he put it. The son already has it in his hands.
Wow.
because it's like you put it there, so it's it's already there in the future.
Kind of like how Bill and Ted did the time game, where
Right.
all right, when we do this, we go back and then make sure this thing happens, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I mean that's the thing with my Blue Shogun. When connecting feudal Japan to modern day Los Angeles, you just know there's going to be a lot of contradictions to what history books say and all that.
Well, if you do it in the same vein of like the original Assassin's Creed games, then I don't think people are going to bat an eye to it.
Well, I'm not too familiar with Assassin's Creed.
Well, pretty much
but I do know that
it's historical fiction.
Yeah.
So it's history, except it turns out that Leonardo da Vinci was actually creating weapons for the assassins and not just stuff like that.
Well, my story has it where demons and magic, they are considered myth for a reason, because everyone by modern day age does not believe in it, and therefore they think it's not real, that it's just fairy tales and rubbish and all that. But then of course, when the portal opens up to feudal Japan, it's going to prove right away everything they've been led to believe is a lie.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm laughing. The cat is like jumping all over the place just to get my attention, and I'm looking at him. It's like look, I'm jumping over here. Look, I'm bouncing on my head. Look. I found it, by the way. So you meet the mother for the first time. She pretends she's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it. You're upsetting my fiance.
Yeah.
And I love this. I could be. Like you have this whole dramatic thing where it's like, it's like dead.
Dead, just like that.
Like he actually tries to so you get a look into Spidey's past.
I think that's something
a very abusive father.
You know what? I think I'm gonna call this a stream early.
Also, his mom has a shrine room to Spider-Man.
Oh wow!
And he tries to tell her that he's Spidey, and
he laughs.
Does not work at all.
Wow.
It's funny because Jason.
Yeah, I remember something like that in Batman Beyond. When he tried to tell his mother and son and little brother about
it. The brother. By the way, Miguel also has a brother, a little brother, except it's his half brother. But
oh wow.
Well, it's really screwed up, and I'd rather you read the comic. I'm not going to spoil that one.
No worries, but thank you.
He has a little brother, Gabriel.
Huh.
Yeah, this guy.
That one girl with the brown hair looks like a combination of old school Mary Jane and Chun-Li.
Yeah, she's Miguel's fiance.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, also like this shows you how much of an asshole the guy Miguel's boss is. It's like, here's your son, cremated as you requested. Flush.
Huh. I do like his attire, though. A yellow shirt, but with an all-red suit. That is a good design there.
I love how this guy has 3 arms.
Mm-hmm.
But you can very tell this is a very cyberpunk future in a little bit.
Definitely, but a good cyberpunk type future.
And this came out before cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Like before 2020. 2020 came out in 1996. This is 1992.
Mm.
They got like the data shard things in your head, just like they do in the Cyberpunk 2077.
That's interesting. And honestly, on the matter of Cyberpunk, before we get to wrapping up, I mean, I do like the look and everything of the game. I just, like I said, I feel like there should be more laser guns and plasma cannons and such in that. I mean,
that's why I want a Spider-Man 2099 game. like a dedicated like open world. Like think the Spider-Man PS4 game, but $20.99 and
Yeah.
more because I actually played that game for the first time last month.
Awesome.
My brother, my brother had a friend that just got a PS4. He wanted my brother to clean out the fan for him. And while he was doing that, he kept the PS4 for like 2 months and let me play on it. And the guy had Spider-Man on it. So
yeah,
combat is a little too simplistic for me compared to Shattered Dimensions. I still think Shattered Dimensions has better combat, but
yeah, I will admit that the Insomniac games mechanics or the controls, they are a little convoluted at times. Like there are some times where I have to like have I have to have four thumbs just to get certain make certain
I've never had that problem. I just don't like the placement for a lot of the actions, like the bindings. Especially because again, like the gameplay is pretty much the art. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is the Arkham style combat, just Spider-Man. So, and I don't like how. But instead of having triangle as dodge, it's circle.
Yeah,
like, that throws me off.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And it's because I'm so used to playing the Arkham games, but also with the Shattered Dimensions games, where the combat is so much more. First of all, combos exist. And they're not just press X 5 times.
Yeah.
Like actual combos, like if you press X, Y, Y, X, X, you get to do this really cool spider bite move where it's, you punch a guy in the air and then you make 2 giant maces out of webbing and smack the guy in the air. But, it's... That's another thing, is the lack of web moves. I feel like they didn't utilize webbing and wall crawling enough, because even with stealth sections you have like why aren't you crawling on the wall? Like sometimes I refuse to use the little railings they would have just below the ceiling because I wanted to go on the ceiling myself and wall crawl and take them down that way. And I didn't like that I couldn't do takedowns on a wall. Like if I was,
and then there's the fact that there are times where you're like crawling up a wall and there's just this one little ledge that you can move over, and yet you won't freaking go over it.
Yeah, like something like that's fingertip length where you can hang on to it, but you can't walk past it because they didn't put enough dev time into the wall crawling.
I know, that is frustrating.
The animations and the web swinging.
Yeah, and also what I will say, I do like how in the hype of the game, they were hyping up Mr. Negative as seemingly the main villain. I mean, this was a new character by old school Spider-Man fans, and yet they were hyping him up as the main baddie.
He's not. I mean, he's a like he's like a 15-year-old character at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's still recent years to long-running comic book readers.
Yeah, he's a C-list villain.
Yeah, but I do like how they tried to hype him up to be some kind of A-list villain.
I like that. I didn't like now Doc Ock is the villain, and mainly not because I don't like Doc Ock. Doc Ock is my favorite. No.
I mean, that was a great twist. It's just it took away from what they were doing with Mr. Negative.
It was a twist in that he's the main villain, not Mr. Negative. I just didn't like that now you have 2 villains with the same exact story in the same, where it's like, this isn't you, or think of all the good you've done. Like you're gonna hear that line so many times throughout the story.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you wanted to build up Doc Ock, that's great. You didn't have to have him be the takeover as the final boss of this game. They could have done the slow grind, and if they were going to do like a trilogy of these Spider-Man games, they could have saved Doc Ock for either the second or the third.
And it seems they're hinting to, I guess, the symbiote in the second one.
Yeah, and just like they did by having MJ being portrayed as like the ultimate cartoon version, they're going to probably do the same with Harry and have Harry be the Venom instead of Eddie Brock. I think.
Actually, I did notice because I was collecting the backpacks. We already gave the PS4 to my brother's friend, so.
Huh.
But I was collecting the backpacks, and I noticed that one of them had some kind of card from the Daily Bugle gang. You know, Betty Brant, Gloria Grant, Eddie Brock was one among them.
Uh-huh.
In some continuities, he did work for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Even though in the original comics, he'd never worked with Peter before. He worked at the Daily Globe.
Yeah. And then there was the Ultimate Comics where Eddie and Peter were old friends because their dads were friends.
Their dads worked on a cure for cancer together.
Yeah, and that became the suit.
Suit in that universe. They were a man-made creation in that universe. And I think that's what it looks like to be again here.
Yeah.
At the end that Harry's in that tank seemingly with a symbiote-like thing.
Yeah, maybe they could actually work both Eddie Brock and Harry as Venom into this, where the suit is attached to Harry, but it was a combination of Peter and Eddie's dad that made the suit. They could do that.
Yep, we'll see. I mean, look, it's definitely the best thing to come out of the 2011 to 2020 decade.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating or anything. It's legitimately the best thing that come out of that decade because
I mean there are some flaws here and there, but you can overlook those in favor of the cons. In favor of the pros. I mean, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, it just exactly like the
pros outweigh the
cons. Story wise, yeah, I have more complaints story wise than I do gameplay because again, I feel like the gameplay's. I get why it's simplistic. You know, it's not supposed to be just for hardcore gamers and Spidey fans.
It's also supposed to be for newcomers.
For everyone. That's fine. It's just I feel it's too simplistic to its detriment.
Yeah. And like I said, story-wise, I would have preferred MJ wasn't a Lois Lane ripoff and was actually an actress who is playing roles to get into places for Peter. Like, say when she's getting into the Kingpin's museum, she's like, I'm one of the Kingpin's nieces. You want me to tell him that you wouldn't let his niece into his museum? Or something like that. You know, she's playing roles, playing parts because she's a damn good actress.
Well, they did that actually with her getting into the museum. I did like.
Yeah, I just feel like the whole her like being a reporter.
You could have just had that as she was posing as a reporter.
Yeah, you could have had that, but mostly I feel like she just she shouldn't have been a reporter to begin with. She should have just been pretending to be this or that just also, to get intel for Peter, not like for some scoop or story.
I get what they were trying to do later on in the game with their relationship with Peter and MJ, where it's like, oh, you keep treating me like I'm made of glass, except you keep running into danger.
Yeah, but at the same time, she is getting intel that is necessary for Peter to know.
Yeah, but I just didn't like the whole, like, I'm running into danger, and then you keep treating me like I'm some moron that keeps running into danger.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, someone as super hot as MJ, she should know by now, living in New York, even before Spider-Man, you're going to be a target. So, yeah, I would think she would be wise enough to, be like, have some self-defense moves. Like maybe she went to the West.
That's why, because in the comics and the animated cartoon, they did, she does know self-defense.
Yeah.
Extremely basic.
Like it may not be like expert karate like in Cobra Kai or anything, but it's at least enough to defend.
It was just like, hey, I know how to punch and I know how to kick, and pretty basically at that. But the point is, she knows how to at least deliver a blow to your face.
And therefore, I think that's why. Combine those self-defense skills with her acting abilities, you could have had it where MJ could actually have some combat gameplay without having to always sneak around.
I don't know. I just wish really if the way I would have done it was like for the reporter stuff. Like, if for anything like you wanted to have the only way to get the story-wise stuff, like the only way for you to infiltrate this area is to sneak in as a reporter. Why not just have you play as Peter Parker using his Daily Bugle credentials to go in.
Yeah, well, for the ones
Like,
that
I get
required
it,
him
they
to
have
be a
the
reporter.
scientist and all that job thing, but like, say you didn't do that.
Yeah,
Like, this way you play Spider-Man the entire game, and by
Yeah.
Spider-Man I mean Peter Parker, because they're one and the same.
yeah. But if you could, but you could also get the option to, like, there's this one place that only MJ can get into, excuse me, because of her acting skills. She could play herself off as either Kingpin's niece or Tombstone's little girl or something like that.
I mean, that would be difficult because Tombstone is black, but
Well, true. Well, he's albino, and he probably has hooked up with some ladies. Who knows?
I don't know how many ladies he's hooking up with in prison. You
Well,
do know
no,
his
but
story, right?
if you remember, he wasn't in prison right at the beginning of the story.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, who knows? But I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that would mean that, like, that would be a surprise, I'm your daughter type moment. I don't,
Yeah.
Wouldn't help your case any.
yeah. But I will say that, like I said, I mean, MJ as a reporter, if it was part of one of her acts, I can buy it. It's just making that her profession. I just did not like that. That didn't sync up well with, classic Spider-Man comics.
No. And look, I get it. There's supposed to be like it's elements of the Ultimate Universe, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
The Ultimate Universe.
But
Like,
here's
in
the thing: even in the Ultimate comic, and that's the thing. She wasn't even a reporter in Ultimate Comics. That was it was.
But she wasn't. Yeah, because in Ultimate Comics they were in like freshman and sophomore year of high school for like 15 years.
Yeah, and then the whole her being a reporter was the Ultimate cartoon that came out several years ago.
I think like 18 or something. No, a little before that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, the Ultimate cartoon had some good moments, like the fact that Spider-Man had to, bring a team of teenage superheroes like him together, in Iron Fist and all that.
Well, I don't like that because Iron Fist, when you first meet Iron Fist in Power Man in the 70s,
yeah,
they're adults, like they're fully,
yeah,
like, they're easily closing in on 30 type thing.
Yeah, but I will admit I did like White Tiger. She was cool.
Yeah, but like I just hate how Iron Fist, man, he has not been done justice in like 2 decades.
Yeah,
it bums me out. Because if you ever, I guarantee, if you love kung fu movies, you will love Iron Fist comics from the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing I really wanted to see when the Marvel movies or Marvel shows on Netflix were starting. I didn't have Netflix, but the one thing I was anticipating was Iron Fist. But then I started hearing, bad reviews about it.
Yeah, I watched it, unfortunately. It's so, all right. Let me just paint you a picture. In the comics, Iron Fist is like this legendary fighter. Like any Joe Schmo going up against him would lose instantly.
Yeah.
That's why whenever you have him in the comics fighting like just regular guys, right? Like not the boss or whatever, they're usually like in hordes.
Yeah, because they feel like their numbers are the only thing they got going.
Then it's equal. Normal, like, but it takes like a true master or even like some kind of mythical like Japanese legend to take him on in a fight.
To actually challenge him, yeah.
Right. And that's it's just the show, pretty much everyone gave him trouble, and it was so like.
Yeah, I heard that the one good episode of Iron Fist was an episode of Power Man, which guest starred him.
Yeah, and that was people were probably hyping that up because it wasn't as good as I thought as people were making it out to be.
Yeah,
I saw that too. I
did enjoy the first episode of the first episode or two, I think, of the Defenders, where
I have not watched that because Iron Fist turned me off so much.
I understand, but I saw the first episode at least, and I loved it because of when Murdoch grabbed Jessica Jones. She's like, I will, if you grab me again, I will slap you so hard you'll see. That was funny.
50 miles from here.
Yeah, she was born 50 miles from here, from where I live.
Yeah, that show. I also didn't like the Luke Cage show. I mean, most of the time, the Luke Cage show didn't have a plot,
Yeah.
and it. You probably noticed this. I can't be the only one. Where a lot of the Netflix shows just have gore for gore's sake.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna
Like,
have
look,
gore, let it be
look,
for a good reason.
It's their flexing. It's their flexing their lack of censorship muscles.
Yeah.
Versus, like, for instance, you can have a shot where, like, someone's shot, instead of having just like, oh, look, a little bit of blood, or you don't even show them. Like, now you can actually show the blood and stuff. Versus here, we're just gonna have this guy randomly break fingers because we can do that now.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
but the thing is, most of the time I have issue with blood is that the fact that most of the blood doesn't even look like it's real makeup.
It's too over the top because it's like, look how much gore we can show, and look how much.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the gore is CG. That's what I'm saying.
It's something for something's sake,
Yeah.
Like, I say
if
something.
you're gonna do gore, make it have it be for not just for the sake of it. Have it be if because it's a situation that requires it, and also use practical effects. Don't have it be CGI.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, you and I are both writers. We know, or at least striving to be. We know how you have to, like, if you want to say, okay, show this guy super intimidating, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's able to, like, you want to show how strong this guy is. And the situation is he's, I'm going to pick something right off the top of my head. He's the boss man, and one of his underling, and some, random guy, right? Like, or some, like, minor enemy of his, tries to assassinate him. And he tells him, like, okay, go to your boss and give him this message, and, like, does something horrific, like gory. That's how you show, okay, this guy's means business, has no remorse, does not care for human life, and is super strong. Like, that's how you'd show. That's where you would show the gore.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh, look, here's a, we need to intimidate this guy. So let's just, start breaking his hand off and show all this blood and broken bones and mangled hand because we can.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't. And also, a lot of the times, less is more. Like, if you don't see this stuff, it kind of hits harder at times.
Yeah.
And the opposite can be said with sometimes if you don't hear it, but you see it, it can hit harder. Perfect example of that, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I actually have this video of I actually found it on Twitter. I don't know who made it, but I didn't see it posted on YouTube, so I decided to be the one to post it. It was an edited of Bad Boys and Frozen. Did you see it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I guess I should have gotten the notification, but I guess I didn't.
That's okay. I'll pull it up here. Give me a quick moment. As soon as I get this thing screen shared real quick. There we go.
You want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snow.
Exactly. I mean, it's fun. That's funny there, but, like, it would hit more than just seeing. For instance, look, you want to show the gore and not the guy shooting.
Yeah.
Right? And you have the same hit, that same feel, right? Or from the audience, you'd have it where you just see someone looking, right? Like, say they see a hole or whatever, and they're trying to look like, okay, I'm scouting the situation, right? And you don't see what's on the other side. You don't see anything. All of a sudden, you see the guy's head explode.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. Like, that's a holy crap moment. That's exactly what you're trying to get there. Versus, well,
yeah.
They do that in Predator.
Yeah.
Gets his chest shot out.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see anything. All of a sudden, pew.
Yeah. Because and that's another thing too. I don't know if you've played the original Resident Evil games. Have you?
I have not.
Oh, in the original Resident Evil games, there was a lot of gore for a reason, because it wasn't just zombies eating you alive. It's that you can blast zombies apart into like you could if you shoot them in a certain angle, their arms fall off, or if you blast a shotgun down at their legs can fall off, and then they'll crawl after you. And then, of course, if depending on whether you're the male or female, if a zombie tries to bite your leg, if you're the male, you'll just stomp on their head, crushing it into a nothing but a bloody pool. But if you're the female, you literally kick their head off their shoulders. And so,
I do think that the rules are different for the form of media.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, a video game, you can show as much as you want because you, the player, are the one inflicting it.
Yeah, or getting inflicted by it, because that's
well,
another thing too.
That's dependent on how you play. You know,
yeah,
like
because that's the thing. There's also this creature called the Hunter. It's this giant green lizard creature that runs and has large claws. And it has this ability to like leap in the air after you. If your health is low, very low, if like one more hit or one seriously critical hit and you're dead, if the hunter leaps at you, it literally slices your head clean off and decapitates you. So but that was like in the original Resident Evil and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. But by Resident Evil Code Veronica, where things started, that's where the gore started to get tame, because when the hunter does the leap and slash attack on you, it doesn't cut your head off. It just slits your throat, which makes no sense to me.
And it's kind of like in Halo, they did that where, hold on a sec.
Bless you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
In Halo CE, you can literally paint the room purple with elite blood.
Wow.
I mean, the graphics aren't, but I mean, you can paint the room, like literally paint the room purple with alien blood. In Halo 2, it's still there, but not as excessive.
Wow.
And in Halo 3, it's complete, like it's very minuscule now, the blood splatter.
Wow.
However, they made up for that by making the flood even more freaking terrifying, and having a animation so that for the first time you can see an infection form actually, like, you can see how an infection form infects a host and turns them into a flood combat form.
Wow.
And the animation for that is just disturbing.
Yeah.
Like go, like, kind of nudge it to, like, nuzzle its way into the guy's chest, and then you see like the guy spring back to life if they're dead, and start screaming in pain, and they're blistering and all that, and then you see all these appendages and stuff growing out of them. Their head gets like twisted back behind them, and they grow these new sensors that the flood use that are superior to human vision, hearing, sight, sense, all that.
Yeah, I just realized now, I think I know what I'm going to make next. I'm going to make a video on how Capcom has censored its own gore in Resident Evil. I'm going to showcase I'm going to like show a clip of how a hunter kills you in the original games versus how it kills you in the newer games.
Look, that people have done that for Halo for sure. Like how the censorship, or not how censored, how the M rating. Like why each game deserves an M rating, I think, is the video.
Yeah, it seems like video games.
Exactly that. It shows you clips of like how the blood splatters in each game kind of become less and less, to the point where they just stopped making the games rated M and started making them rated T in Halo 5 because they got rid of the blood splatter entirely.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing too. It's like
have that too, where it's rated T. So.
Yeah, because it's like that's the thing. Movies, video games, the ones that start off rated M or rated R, the sequels or continuations over time, they become toned down. I mean, look at Terminator. It started off as an R-rated sci-fi slasher horror, but with guns instead of slashing. And then
Yeah, Terminator's a perfect example. Like take T3 just from T2.
Yeah, because it became so practically borderline parody. I mean, yeah, there was some blood, there was some nudity, but it's the beginning of it being turned into a joke. And then by like Terminator Genesis, it became PG-13, which is ridiculous.
Genesis, I think it was. They did have. No, wait. I was about to say that one was the one that had gore, but that was. I honestly at this point I can't, because I just remember both of them, Dark Fate and Genesis, for being having really shitty CGI.
Yeah.
Terminator film, which, for anyone who has no idea, for starters, why you on this? Okay, I was about to say, why are you on this channel? This is a Terminator expert here.
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Well, I do have a Terminator lore channel, but this is a celebration of my 500 subs on my main channel, and I just brought up the topic.
Yeah, but because Terminator's always, this, better than anyone else, that Terminator's always that's pushed the envelope in terms of visual effects.
Yeah, because when Terminator Genesis does the T-1000 liquid metal, it's obviously CGI, but in Terminator, but in Terminator 2, even if it was CGI, it wasn't so obvious. It looked so real.
It just took you out, like the way the when you have Kyle versus the T800 Endo in Genesis.
Yeah.
It looks so obviously CG. It's almost like watching a video game cutscene.
Yeah.
Versus live action movie. Like,
yeah. And that's another thing too. Well, and then that's another thing too. Two complaints there. The fact that they redesigned the darn endoskeleton design from Genesis.
Oh my god, you noticed that too.
Yeah, well, I noticed the only real glaring obvious change is like the chest area, but there's
noticeable ones on the skull itself too.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and look at all the differences of the two different versions, but yeah, the original worked for a reason. Just don't change it.
Yeah, and the spine, they made the spine look more like it's just a metallic bone versus like the pistons and just the cylindrical mechanical, because that was what I liked about the T800, where it was a harsh mechanical robot
that was trying to pass itself off as human. Yeah,
right, because that was the whole point. And because the thing is, just because it's supposed to disguise itself as human, it is not a human being.
Yeah, there are some times, I will admit, I don't know if you noticed in my chat the other night. I actually I think that was Curtis YZ, but there was a stream last night that Fanzine did, and I did mention, you notice how in the original Terminator movie, there were scenes where even though Arnie is supposed to be portraying a emotionless machine, there are moments where his face contorts and seemingly expresses anger.
Yeah, it's almost like that's like the only emotion that the machines know.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Yeah, because
machines do know one emotion. It's anger, and they don't qualify it as an emotion. They qualify it as, whatever it is.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The machines, Terminators, Skynet, they were built based on anger, because
it was a military missile program.
Yeah,
wasn't the original Skynet built as some kind of from T1?
Kinda, because that's the thing. Some can argue there was once an original timeline where Kyle Reese and the Terminator never showed up in '84, and John was somehow born and Skynet was somehow built, and it was when Skynet first started to lose. That's when they first built time travel, and that's where they started this whole war across time. So some have argued that Terminator 1, the movie, is actually supposedly the third attempt by Skynet.
Yeah, I think Cordry FX made that video.
Yeah, that's very, very good video, I have to admit.
Yeah, Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Also, I loved his Dark Fate review.
Yeah, I will say I've been meaning to get around to making a video of how I would have done Genesis and Dark Fate better. I mean, I know there are people going to say just don't do them at all, but I actually have like my own idea of how they could have been made into good movies.
Yeah,
But,
those ideas, definitely get them out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little. I have two different ideas of how I would do Genesis. Dark Fate, I will give you this as a idea. My first Terminator What If video, what if Kyle Reese failed to save Sarah?
Yes, that was so good, by the way.
Thank you. But yeah, take the concept of that, and that is how I would do Dark Fate, because the first scene we see is John Connor being killed. It's kind of like how my What If starts off with the first scene being how Sarah Connor got killed. So just take what goes after that with my What If and apply that to Dark Fate. That's what I do. But yeah, for Genesis, I would do it one of two ways. Because you see, to me, Genesis, the first 30 minutes was the best part of the movie. The whole stuff that where they were recreating the 1984 events and then changing them somewhat. I loved that. It's just the moment they got to the time machine and said they had to travel forward in time to either 1997 or 2017, that's where the story really lost me. That's where they were pulling a Sarah Connor Chronicles on me. So if I were to, so basically my two ideas are, one idea is what if it stays in 1984? And then the other idea is what happens if they do go forward in time like before? How do I make it so that it makes more sense and is believable? So I'll get to making those videos after I start publishing the Terminator What If, not
Resident
Evil crossover.
Yeah.
Whew. That was a long-winded rant.
Hey, Bill, back to the original topic of Terminator special effects, like the CG blood in Dark Fate. Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean,
like that oil tar effect for the liquid metal not Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, come on, people. The original Terminator had blood on his hand from punching a guy in the gut. And so you can't replicate, you can't just do that. You got to go with this CG crap. What the hell is wrong with you? And I'm talking to all the people involved in Dark Fate's CG effects.
Well, it's cheap. Oh, I wouldn't say it's cheaper, but it's definitely easier than having to do practical.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, everyone in Hollywood's doing things the easy way these days.
That's good with special effects on a computer.
Yeah, but unfortunately, everyone in Hollywood is doing things the easy way these days, and it's boring. So, anything else you got?
I got a stream in like an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, then how about we end this stream
later? So.
Yeah, how about we end this stream and it'll give you a whole hour's worth to relax before you get your stream started.
All right. I mean, if that's what you want.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, and I don't know if we'll get any more viewers beyond what we've gotten.
Yeah, I see YouTube's treating you same as it is me.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the chat and we've got a lot of people here, and I'm glad they all showed up, and thank you all for joining me. But
make sure you do, and if you already have, make sure you still are.
Yeah,
that is still a problem.
Yeah, even though I have been getting more subs and I've hit like 504, I won't be surprised if, say, after the stream is concluded, I like drop one or two, and that would be disappointing.
Yeah, like tomorrow you'll see that it's at 5:01 or something.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone, thank you for joining the stream. If you be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and if you already have, double check to make sure. And also, Cast in the Shadows, aka Mando Merc, would you like to promote yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I run a channel called Cast in Shadows. I cover all things escapism. We're currently going through we're playing through Cyberpunk 2077 so that you don't have to. It's pretty buggy right now, but I figure at least this way we can all play it together without you guys having to waste $60 on an unfinished product. But by being in the chat and helping me make decisions on whether it be gameplay or dialogue. So, what do we kill this guy? Do we not kill this guy? What do we say with the dialogue options? That kind of stuff. I actually have, so at 7:25 p.m., so in an hour, I'm going to be starting our playthrough. We're getting the band back together with Johnny and the rest of Samurai, so that should be fun. We get to listen to some kick-ass music because Cyberpunk might be a glitchy game, but the music is definitely an 11 out of 10.
And also, let me see if I can get all your channels listed here. I'm gonna see if I can.
Oh yeah, and I have my my personal channel, Mando Merc. So
yeah, first there's
I just upload gaming shenanigans to that one.
First, there's that one.
So that's a link to the stream. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else? Then there's Cast in Shadows.
I mean, if you go to just Cast in the Shadows and go to channels, it's all there, including all of our personal channels.
Yeah.
Every member of the thing that has a personal channel, I should say, because not all of us have personal channels that we upload stuff to.
Yeah, but I figured it doesn't help to give a lend a hand.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a problem. And then there's Mando Merc. That was the first name I ever how I first recognized you as Mando Merc.
Yeah, well, it's my personal channel. I use that more often. So
well, there we go. And also, just in case, here is a link to your Twitch.
Yeah, I do live streams on Twitch every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mission Mondays, where we just screw around Star Citizen and see what happens. It usually involves a lot of stupid human tricks, a lot of death, and most of it all intentional.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that, and let's see here. I'm trying to remember this. And I am Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1. You can bet on that. And thank you all for getting me to 500 subscribers, and still gonna grind and try to get to 600 and hopefully beyond to 1K, and then definitely grind all those watch hours so that way I can finally get monetized. But I will try to provide as much variety of content on my main channel. But as for my other channels, I have TechCom, which is for Terminator lore. Let me give me a moment here. I just gotta. Alrighty. But yeah, there's TechCom for my love of Terminator lore, which is where I will start posting a Resident Evil Terminator crossover video series. And I hope you all enjoy that. Also, I have my Star Wars lore channel called Home One. And while I admit there's very little content on there at the moment, I'm still I still got some ideas of what to put there. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm trying to prioritize each one. And then there's, of course, Crane Kick, which is dedicated to the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. So if you like, feel free to check those channels out as well. And I will do my best to provide as much entertainment for you as possible. And who knows? I mean, TechCom, like I said, is currently it's currently got like 30 plus videos, yet they're getting tons of views. Many people are subscribing to it. And because of that, it's really cool. It's actually gaining up on my main channel right now. So yeah, everyone have a good rest of your day. May the force be with you always. Cobra Kai never dies. There's no fate but what we make. And you can bet on that.